Hey friends. Wow, these days just keep on coming. Had a wonderful day today. Got a little intense this morning with the some of the arranging work and just what needs to happen there. But it was also just another day of feeling like the creative space that I'm holding has a core to it, has a center to it. And I think, what I was saying yesterday on my post about really cultivating that space and holding it, and that giving our orbit a gravitational center has felt, again, pretty key today. I mean, I worked so late last night, and I was doing, this is something I know about myself. If I do really heady work late into the night being like 8:30 p.m. or 9 p.m., I just buzz all night, which is what happened last night. I barely slept because my mind was just going. However, what I worked on yesterday was successful. It launched us into today from a great place. And I found myself totally able to come back to center today. And all of this feels like massive progress. It all feels like the context of the work I'm doing is expanding, and the level of detail and capacity for detail and kind of micro focus is expanding. It's expanding in I feel like my awareness is expanding in two directions at once, which is amazing. What hit me today was a sense of, I spoke to a friend. I spoke to my friend Ruth, who's somebody who has a very kind of extraordinary gift for not just holding a space, although that's a large part of it, but holding a space of a certain kind of spiritual vibration and a certain spiritual tone. And I felt myself invited into the space where I'm much more vulnerable and much more, in a lot of ways, disoriented than I am in my professional work that's kind of collaborative or for a project, for hire, because those are all spaces where I'm contributing creatively, but the final product doesn't rest on my shoulders. The final outcome is not my responsibility. And that's part of what I'm picking up and learning about, both about myself and about the creative process itself overall. That's a huge step. And it might feel like a slight distinction between having control of a project and sort of contributing to it. And in some ways, especially when we work for, creative people who are very generous and very collaborative in how they like to work, we can easily get the impression that those two things are almost the same, that it's almost the same to kind of be contributing energy to a collective project as it is to own our own project. But they're really not the same. They're really not the same. And so when I was speaking to Ruth today, what I was tracking was, oh wow, yeah, that feeling that I was getting from the cabaret of kind of stepping out into a vacuum, I'm not getting that as much anymore. And I have all kinds of good excuses for why not. Our house, for one thing, I can't even, I mean, literally, they've moved my piano so that they can shoot a scene. I think they're shooting like right now or later tonight. But I don't have access to the piano, so the whole like format of the cabaret got changed, and I'd already kind of put it on pause for a week because of Thanksgiving and blah, 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 blah. I have all these reasons for why I haven't been doing that project, even though my intention was to do it every week. And now, and when I was on the call today with Ruth, I had to kind of revisit that intention and say, well, what is that intention? You know, if I can't do it the way that I had imagined it, what else could it be? And maybe, because I'm also about to leave town for 2 months, so I'm not going to have this whole setup that I've been working with is changing after the holidays, which are going to be a period of total, you know, kind of unpredictable schedule and whatnot. What if I'm being provoked not to simply drop the intention or the project, but to let it change, to let it morph, and to stay with the intention not of doing a cabaret every week for an hour at my piano, but just outward facing and creating that space where I know that I hold ultimate responsibility for what is being done, presented, and that invites me into that space of kind of the unknown, that sort of light, delicate area of kind of not quite knowing, of kind of, you know, having to allow something to come through me, and certainly formulating an intention around it and cultivating that intention and revisiting what I'm doing and making sure that it's doing what I want it to do, and, you know, all those things, but also at the same time just being in the unknown of it, opening the door to the unknown, because that just feels like a really healthy energy. Feels like a really healthy energy to be inviting right now when I'm in this period of very intense, you know, collaborative work, but also kind of, you know, music. I'm working, I'm arranging, I'm at the computer all day, I'm dealing with the nitty gritty of producing a score, and not just the musical aspect of that, but all the technical and logistical and software aspects of that. So it's just such a different headspace. It's such a different headspace, and so being reminded, oh right, this other domain is so vast and so just like it's a space that might seem like it's somehow less I don't know, professional is the word that wants to come to mind, but I don't know if that's the right word. You know, this on a very structured project like what I'm pouring my time into, there's a sense that it's going somewhere. And there's a very clear goal. And to just step off into the unknown and do my cabaret has an open-endedness to it, a kind of a gentleness to it. It's a softness. It's a sense of, I don't know what this is yet. I can't know what this is yet. I have to therefore it's like I have to put the mind down. In this other job, I don't have to put the mind down. My mind is in fact the part of me that has been hired to do the job. Now, on some level, you could say there's a deeper aspect to that as well, and of course that's true, but all I'm saying is I perform my functions on this other project largely out of my skill set, my mental capacities, my what I come with. Whereas doing something like this cabaret is like, it's an invitation to discover who I am. The reason for doing that is not because I have the skill set of doing this. And remembering how significant that is, remembering how precious that is. I got a little taste of that today. I just got a little taste from sitting with Ruth and speaking. I just got this sense of like, oh, right. That's softness. Right. Let's allow that. Let's value that. The unknown. Let's invest in that. And let's let that evolve into whatever it needs to be. If it can't happen in my living room, maybe it happens in my studio. If it can't happen in my house in Albuquerque, maybe it happens in my Airbnb in Houston. Right? Maybe it's being encouraged to be something more flexible and more adaptive to circumstances than something prescriptive that can easily be derailed when the circumstances aren't available. So that's where I'm at today, and it feels really good. I mean, it doesn't feel good that I haven't done my cabaret in 4 weeks, but it feels good to be receiving the input from the universe. Hey, yes, affirming everything I'm doing in the project I'm working on. Yes, in so many ways this is being affirmed. And there's this other thing. It's really important. Don't forget about it. Keep cultivating, keep giving, keep discovering. So that's where I'm at today, folks. Thank you for watching. I love you. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.